razor thin that can set up a season. What a moment that is for Emma Bates, who is on debut for the Newcastle Jets this afternoon. 4 changes after they conceded 4 in the derby. So Emma Bates makes her debut. Kelly Brown is back from concussion, while fellow Kiwi Olivia Page will make her first start in the competition. India Breyer is also in the 11 for the first time this season. Lauren Allen is out with a calf strain. Josie Wilson is at her brother's wedding, while Josie Allen and Alexis Collins are benched. So there is the Canwell Rovers junior out of the Central Coast, who makes her Ninja A-League debut. She spent 3 seasons of college football in the USA after previously being part of the Jets and the Mariners Academy. 2 seasons with the Uni of Louisiana and a season in Texas as well. A big moment for her to step up today. Just the one change for Brisbane. It is significant, though. Tamika Yallop ruled out with a hamstring injury, which will require surgery and likely rule her out of the Women's Asian Cup next year. Kaya Stevenson, who replaced her last week in the win over Adelaide, will take her place in the 11. On the bench is Daisy Brown. The 19-year-old Sydney product is in line for her Ninja A-League debut. Well, no one can stop talking about Bente Janssen. 5 goals in 4 matches for Brisbane. A couple of doubles, a double last week against Adelaide, a double earlier in the season against Perth Glory as well. She just cannot stop scoring. Can Newcastle stop her? Western Sydney did, and they won 1-0. The only side to defeat Brisbane this season. Well, Alex Smith can take his side to the top of the table with a win today. They started last season well, and they will want to continue the momentum this season, where he has said that they are going to be more pragmatic, go after those results and accumulate points in the race for the premiership. Sophie Allam in charge of this one. She was in charge of the F3 derby last weekend. Not great memories for the Jets, of course, in that 4-1 defeat to the Mariners. Alongside for the call is 11-time Matilda and Sydney FC legend Teresa Polias-T. Fascinating matchup, this one. Brisbane 3 wins from 4. The Jets started well, but a disappointing defeat last week. So you feel like it's on a knife's edge.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, big game for both teams. They've both had similar positive starts to the season, and today they'll want a good performance to build on that momentum.
So we're just about ready to go. So Breyer, who scored the match winner in round 1 in the starting side for the first time this season. They beat Canberra that day, the Jets. Can they take down Brisbane Roar, who are in form here in Newcastle? So it's the Jets and the Roar. Can Brisbane make it 11 wins from 15 trips to the Hunter? Or do the Jets have the perfect response to derby disappointment? One thing for sure, though, it is a beautiful day for football. Mid-20s, not the heat wave we saw last week across New South Wales last Saturday. And Kaya Stevenson immediately trying to poke that ball through the line and tee. It is going to be a challenge for Brisbane not having Tamika Yallop, but we do know she did begin the season off the bench, so they have been able to deal without their experienced player.
Yeah, in terms of leadership and quality on the pitch, they're absolutely going to miss Tamika Yallop, that's for sure. That goes without saying, but yeah, they started positively without her while she was returning, so they've got enough quality out there to keep this going. And
Elite is linking with Bryant. So it'll be intriguing to see how the Jets are going to match up here, because a couple of big losses for them. So Josie Wilson at her brother's wedding today, and I did have a chat to Stephen Hoyle about that. He said to her, tell your brother he's only getting married once. You're going to play lots of football matches in your career, so you can have this week to spend time with your family. And I think that shows you his attitude as a head coach, and it is important. Players have lives outside of football. That's right, and you know, that player welfare being taken into account, and certainly would take the pressure off a player who's wanting to do both, yes, but such a big occasion. You want to be there for your family, so good to hear. And then also Lauren Allen missing, and that was only late in the piece. Suffered a calf strain at training this week, so he's in the stands. Sophie Hoban also missing with a quad issue. Now, I've been told that she was racing the clock to play this afternoon, but they just erred on the side of caution. She's probably likely to come back in next week when the Jets take on Melbourne Victory. That match on Friday here at home. And they don't want to take any risks with Sophie Hoban, because she was, of course, their Player of the Year last year. Very impressive season for her. Yeah, an important player for the Jets, and given it's such a long season, you don't want to rush a player back and risk them re-injuring themselves. So Brisbane, 3 wins from those opening 4. Win in the opening round against Melbourne Victory. Tamika Yallop playing a huge part in that off the bench, and then 3-2 win over Glory and a 3-1 win over Adelaide. But that 1-0 defeat to Western Sydney. Probably the big question mark for them is defensively. We know they've got goals in them, but can they restrict them in terms of goals per game? 7th best defence in the competition for Newcastle. Undefeated in those first 3 wins over Canberra and Western Sydney. Draw with Wellington, and then that first defeat last week against the Mariners, where the match really turned on substitution. Josie Wilson leaving the ground, and the Mariners exploited the substitute's edge in Zoe Karapedes, who's on the bench today. And Stephen Hoyle has said that does want to protect her. He knows it was a tough outing, but he was most impressed with her the week before against Western Sydney. And this is going to be the challenge, isn't it, T? Fry caught offside there, but if they give her space, she will fry the Jets. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Yeah, well said, Ben. I mean, look, she's not the only threat, though, and that's the challenge for the Jets today. They've got Fryer alongside Jansen, Kulamu, and Momo Hayashi out there, to name just a few. So big challenge for the Jets, given they've got a couple massive outs in this game. But look, I like the approach that Hoyle's taking, and I mean, they've had a really solid start now to this game. So the players are responding well. It's their best start to the season in a very long time. So if they can get a win over Brisbane today, I think their season will skyrocket. Massive test for Newcastle with Melbourne Victory next week, and then Canberra the week after. And of course, Canberra will be stinging from that. They will, yeah. Last-minute defeat back in round 1. So, of course, they don't want to look too far ahead at the moment. The Jets have got Brisbane in front of them today, so that's what they'll be keeping their close attention to. Now, just having a look at how they are shaping up, it looks as though, of course, teams do like to play ducks and drakes on the team sheet, but it looks as though, T, that Bry's playing more in that left wing-back role. See her rushing back into position now. Playing a back 5 today, the Jets, in a bid to try and reduce Brisbane's advantage on the flanks. We know Brisbane have a lot of speed in wide areas. Myers and Fryer on each side, and here is Kira Myers. And Emma Bates doing well on debut there. Yeah, those players out on the wing will have a lot to do today. They've got big engines, that's why they're in those positions, but I think we'll see Breyer really track back and give cover in defence. That's excellent work from Dundas, who has pinched it off the toes of Bente Janssen. No doubt a player who is going to be more and more under the spotlight as we go on this season, and this is really going to show her quality, isn't it? If she is still able to have an influential impact despite the pressure that she's going to come under from opposition teams, well, it's just going to underline her quality.
Well, that's the only way to get better as well. You've got to put yourself in pressure situations to get better and challenge yourself, and this is a great game for that.
So Cass Davis, and here is Pryor. So Matilda's in action this afternoon. Chloe Lincoln in goal for Brisbane Roar. Grace Quilamu and Sian Fryer along with Tash Pryor. Haven't seen her though in the Joe Montemuro era, the Jets defender, so you wonder whether she would be able to force her way in before the Asian Cup. And a little battle here with Quilamu, who made her Matilda's debut earlier this year against Panama. Isn't she a finisher and a half at just 18 years of age? A couple of goals already for her this season. And so mature as well, isn't she?
Absolutely, and such a young player. She's so aware of when the time is to press and when not to. So the Jets will have to be aware of that. Playing the ball around at the back when Quilamu's around, she does like to pounce and win the ball up high.
So Brown slipping it in for Copus. Brown, good delivery. And Melina Ayres just couldn't quite catch up with it in time. Apologises to Libby Copus Brown.
Positive play there from the Jets. They got forward nice and quickly there, and it was a great ball into the middle, and the player you want in that middle there is Melina Ayres.
Back in the Ninja A-League this season after having a season off, and my understanding is she was just a bit jaded from playing winter-summer. Just wanted to have a breather.
Certainly missed having her in the competition, and it's great to see her back.
So Quilamu has just been jockeyed there by Tash Pryor, who shut down the crossing channel. So Miller and Davis. Hayashi, who we're seeing play at centre-back this season, and what she lacks in height, she really makes up for in that technical ability. Her ability to pick a pass. We saw that last week, her leadership as well. Really was exemplary for the Roar in that return in the 3-1 win over Adelaide. Here is Myers down to the byline, pushes it across the face. Bente Janssen has no pressure. Takes on Chico. Seemed to be a good opening there for the Roar. Now it's Medwin off the head of Bates. Stevenson now. Neat little turn. Fryer. Angle tightens up though for Brisbane. They recycle through Medwin and Janssen. Here's the Dutch woman. That's easy pickings for Pryor, but only as far as Miller. Good little passage this for the visitors. Woods and Medwin. Janssen v Copus Brown. Tish Woods, hasn't she gone about her business with a minimum of fuss? Again in that midfield for Brisbane this season. And Newcastle able to cut out that little passage, but Brisbane posing some questions here.
Yeah, you can see how creative the likes of Janssen, Fryer are up top there. But Newcastle doing well to hold their ground and keep Brisbane at bay.
That's the thing, they'll feel like if they can frustrate Brisbane, so goal output per game, second best in the league, 9 goals in 4 matches. A nervy moment there for Emma Bates on debut. Gets away with it. Let's see how the Jets deal with it this time. And Elite going a little longer. Saw that Copus Brown was free, but Varley's strength just out-muscled Copus Brown. That is a battle that Libby doesn't want to be in terms of a strength battle, because Varley's going to win that more often than not.
There's definitely a strength in her game, and good to see her using it to her advantage there. And again,
a couple of big involvements there from Leah Varley, really coming into her own at the back for Brisbane. Love a clean sheet though this season. That defensive unit. Kelly Brown going from distance. Wasn't on target, but it wasn't a bad try and not a bad option to test out Chloe Lincoln, because she's a great goalkeeper, but she does have her moments.
There's that transition forward. There's that one pass forward to Kelly Brown, and we know how good she is with a shot from distance, so she has a go there. She wouldn't have been happy with the contact she made on that ball, but why not have a go? And both teams know each other's strengths and weaknesses, so good to see her have a crack there.
Well, it's a rivalry that's been dominated by Brisbane down the years, 15-8. And in Newcastle, it's quite staggering. It's almost similar to what it used to be like in the A-League men's, where it was the away team that would win the majority of the time. Well, it's certainly the case in the A-League women's. Brisbane 10-3 with 2 draws, and 5 of Newcastle's wins have come up in Queensland. So something about the away days in this particular fixture. But of late, Newcastle have won 3 of the last 4 at all venues, so they have turned the tide a little bit, including the most recent match, which was earlier this year, the back end of last season. Lauren Allen's stoppage time winner ensured Newcastle won 3-2 in Brisbane. Myers calmly back to her goalkeeper. Davis and Hayashi just had enough on the jump to ensure it didn't reach Melina Ayres. Myers coming back infield, now has to turn away from Dundas. Gee, that's excellent maturity from a young player. Miller's cross is deep. Well brought down by Stevenson. Appeals for a free kick. Play goes on here for Brisbane. Ashlyn Miller. And Myers. Emma Dundas, some key involvements from the Newcastle product to start this one. And now Brisbane earn it back. Myers from distance. And it was never looking likely.
We can see the 2 approaches on the ball from both teams. The Jets are winning the ball, playing that first ball forward. There was a call there for a foul, wasn't given, and it's a free shot away there for the Raw. So Jets need to be aware of that, but Brisbane more likely to build up and try to play through the Jets at this stage.
Medwin clipping it over the top for Kuilamu, and it holds up on the surface. Bates with a powerful header. This is Olivia Page. First Ninja A-League start for the Kiwi, New Zealand Youth International. Well, it's fascinating as well, T, because these two sides, they don't like the ball. fewest passes in the competition. Newcastle and Brisbane. It's been the counter-attack and that press, which has done a lot of the damage for them. This is what Brisbane are trying to induce here, a Newcastle mistake.
Done all the hard work, now go. Attack. Don't shoot from 50 meters.
Interesting little structural change up here. You can see Hayashi just stepping out in to the right flank. That's where Miller heads now, and the deflection is going to favour Myers. Try keeping a close eye on her, but it was good endeavour, wasn't it, from Bryant. Win back possession for Newcastle. Dundas has got herself about already in the opening 17 minutes. Has been excellent.
Great work there from Breyer. She held strong, perhaps the use of the arm there a little bit, but referee didn't blow it, was play on, and Emma Dundas in the middle there, really industrious. Her role in this fixture today is extremely important. But I think the Jets would like to get the ball under control a little bit more in possession.
And that was the takeaway from last week against the Mariners, where Stephen Hoyle felt like they let themselves down in possession. And Cass Davis said it as well at the end of the game. She said, we just did not treasure possession, and we just afforded opportunities for the Mariners, and in the end, they were punished for that.
Well, you can see they are a transitionary team to an extent. They've got players that like to get in behind, but there's times in a game you've got to keep the ball and not rush forward, and I think they need to find that happy balance between the two.
Ganson that time too strong in the contact with Davis. And Myers couldn't link up with Fryer.
You mentioned Brisbane used to not having much of the ball, but in this game they're going to have a lot, so it'll be interesting to see their mentality as the game goes on, and they're not converting chances. Will they be able to keep their heads and continue to push for it? They did get frustrated in that loss against the Wanderers, so hopefully they were able to learn from that and know that in games when they are frustrated, they've got to find a way out of that rut.
And when you are a team that is used to scoring, I'm sure that frustration can build up even more so. When you are scoring an average of more than 2 goals a game, when that's not coming as easily, as you mentioned, held to naught in that 1-0 defeat against Western Sydney, that frustration can build, and no doubt that's what the Jets will be hoping to see this afternoon.
And you mentioned that record against the Jets here for the Raw. They've come here expecting to win, I think. So. Well,
6-1 it was here last year. They dominated Newcastle. Page and Copus Brown. Well, a lot on the line this afternoon, especially considering these two sides, just their 5th match of the season. There's teams that have played more. There's also teams that have played less. Brisbane would go 2 points clear at the top with a win. Newcastle would go level at the top with Canberra United with a victory. But you lose, and all of a sudden, Jets could be out of the 6. Brisbane could be as well. It's that tight.
There's a lot at stake.
It almost feels this season it's tighter than most. You know, Western Sydney have struggled in seasons gone by, but Chloe Berryhill has signed there, and Jeff Abrams seems like he's doing a terrific job. So really has evened out this competition. Elena Ayres, the delivery, searching for Brown. Hayashi used the body well. Kelly Brown is a goal scorer. She's been prolific in the NPL New South Wales. 5 goals in the Ninja A-League across this, now her 31st appearance. So we'd like that strike rate to improve. The New Zealand international. Lincoln almost sold herself down the river there. Wow. I did mention earlier, Chloe Lincoln, she does keep things entertaining. She will induce the heart rate to rise of Brisbane Roar fans and points throughout the season.
That was close then. There's that touch, just a heavy touch, and Elena Ayres ready to pounce. Very, very fortunate there for Chloe Lincoln.
Well, Elena Ayres should be wondering what she has to do to score more this season. Because I feel like some of the goals that she's been denied, she did score that one against Wellington, but against Western Sydney, the bicycle, the incredible saves that were produced from Shiam Karmas on that occasion. Here's Bry's delivery. Here is Brown. And that first goal for Newcastle, proving elusive as she posts that one wide. She would have at least wanted to force a save out of Lincoln.
Well, brilliant play here, 1-2, and Bryant bombs on. She put in a brilliant cross here on a platter for Kelly Brown, and she'll be disappointed with herself in that position.
And just interesting to see the way Newcastle have approached this one. They have played a back three to start the season, but I was told this week was more of a back five. They really want to try and soak up Brisbane's advantage on the flanks, but in doing so, it allows space in those kind of moments for their own width out wide. Here is Fryer driving forward. Kaya Stevenson is played in. Quilamu in the middle. So too is Fryer. What a chance. What a chance for Brisbane. So it was Brown who spurned the chance at one end, and Fryer has skied it there.
Well, what a great build-up, and Kaya Stevenson, you're saying in your head, cut it back, and she did just that. Put it on a platter on the other end for Fryer, and she can't believe she skied it over.
Nice turn from Breyer. She's been excellent, hasn't she, to start this game? India Breyer, but Janssen has as well. She's won it back off Dundas. Newcastle with a safety first approach.
Really see that confidence growing in India Breyer with every positive play that she does. It's fantastic to see.
Quilamu. Cut out by Pryor. Here's the debutante, Emma Bates. Central Coast junior. Playing in the US college system. Gets her Ninja A-League chance, and we've seen plenty of players go from that US college system, Australian players especially, and step up in this league. Here is Fryer, good save from Leet. Quilamu with the follow-up, and Stevenson, it looked like there was a handball in there at least a few times. Thought it was a game of water polo, the amount of times the ball hit the hand there. Newcastle away now. We will put the microscope on all of that. Hayashi's header through the legs and Brown is maybe legged there, but nothing doing from the official. I swear I saw at least 3 handballs. I thought 2 were from Brisbane players, maybe 1 from a Jets player.
It was a very crowded box there, and I'm sure Brisbane are wondering how they didn't put that one away.
Well, entertaining start to this one in Newcastle, and this will give us a chance to have an inspection. It will be a Jets throw. Deep in the corner.
Fryer with the initial shot, great save from Leet there, and was that a handball in that instance? Another one there. I think you're right, Ben.
Well, there are 4 handballs. There was definitely I thought, 1 from Bates, 1 from Quilamu, then Stevenson. It was a pinball in the box there.
Didn't see any appeals from the players though.
It was that short-range handball, and honestly, you don't know which way it's going to go these days, do you?
No, and I think hand was against the body there.
Leeton able to link up with Breyer there.
Playing every time we get in there, just keep playing.
Alex Smith, you can hear wanting his side to keep playing. Keep moving the ball around, fatiguing this Newcastle side. And this is the period Brisbane have been strong. Before half-time, they scored 4 goals in the half an hour between the 15th and the 45th. 15th at half-time. Newcastle have also been strong in this area of the game. So in their second 15-minute period in the first half, both sides have scored 3 times this season, which is above average. That's with a toe in. Free kick here for the Roar. And to be fair, T, first 15 minutes is where these two sides have got no goals this season, probably no chances, but in the last period, that second 15-minute window, there's been a lot. There's been a flurry of action.
Yeah, once the game's settled and both teams can implement their styles, we've seen plenty of final third entries from the Roar. They'll be wondering how they didn't finish that. But on the other end, Newcastle transitioned well and have had a couple great chances as well.
Are you getting flashbacks, though, from last season? Because it was almost this kind of territory that Momo Hayashi struck that free kick. The difference was it was Tiana Robertson in goals, not quite the same height as Anna Leet, but we'll see what she can deliver. Not quite. An encore performance there from Momo Hayashi. And that time she got it knuckling, it was dipping and swerving. Bates turns away from Quilamu. The 23-time New Zealand international and elite, finding a fellow compatriot in Page, and now Newcastle find Brown down the right. Strong Kiwi contingent in this Jets lineup. Charlotte Lancaster also on the bench. Another New Zealand youth international.
Quite a youthful New Zealand international team, so it's good to see their young players in our league.
Fryer in behind, so Page and Chico with some work to do, and Claudia Chico did excellently well there just to close off the angle, make it ever so tight. Now it's Page finding Copus Brown.
Plenty of runners into that box there for Brisbane, and the Jets backline certainly have their hands full today.
Kelly Brown, early delivery, searching for airs.
Ball match, ball. Take your space, Ash. Take your space.
Well, they found that space in behind last week, Newcastle, for the opening goal against the Mariners. Lauren Allen scored. They are just finding some moments, some pockets Time Ayres searching for Kelly Brown. Medwin doing the clean up for Brisbane. We used the word industrious earlier about Emma Dundas. She has been mighty in the midfield for the Jets. So much energy. Now it's Brown. Varley was too strong, but Brown has another opportunity here. Turns away from Stevenson. This will be play on for Brisbane. Played advantage. They haven't taken the advantage. Brown still down, but Ayres is it. Melina Ayres scores for Newcastle. Finally gets her second of the season after being denied in recent weeks. And the Jets sharpshooter makes it 1-0 in Newcastle.
Well, how about this turn and finish there for Ayres? She really took on Hayashi there, and the brilliant finish with her left foot. Amazing stuff there from the Jets.
Well, she could have had maybe 3, 4 or 5 by this stage already in season 18 of the Ninja A-League. She's got number 2 there. And once you just saw her in that position, she'd beaten Hayashi one-on-one with the keeper. You thought, goal here, didn't you, Teresa? She does not miss those opportunities very often.
Absolutely not. We know how lethal she is in those areas, but it was the way she produced that shot. She often does it the hard way, and we saw that spin off the touch. She opened up the shot and put it away. It was brilliant, the way Melina Ayres worked that cross.
Interesting as well, and we touched on this, that was a matchup that Newcastle no doubt would have liked to target. I'm sure Stephen Hoyle would have been thinking Hayashi in a one-on-one situation with Ayres, you know who's going to win physically, and that's exactly what they got there. And that is the disadvantage of a little bit of a lack of physicality and height in that back line for Brisbane.
Well, that's a moment there that Melina Ayres made her own, and we know how good Hayashi is with her distribution, her timing, her skill. But in that moment, Melina Ayres made sure she won that duel.
So Melina Ayres, goal number 38 in her Ninja A-League career, game number 101. The century didn't quite go to plan last week, but game 101, it's trending in the right direction. And an intriguing stat, while Newcastle have shown the ability to bounce back this season when they've gone behind, Brisbane have not. Brisbane have lost the only match they conceded first. They won all 3 when they have scored first, but while Newcastle have shown that ability to bounce back, they have shown the ability to fall in a heap as well, and we saw that last week against the Mariners. So Momo Hayashi, you can hear the Brisbane Raw bench absolutely filthy that a card hasn't been handed out here. Let's have a little look. Well, Brown's run into the back here. Hayashi's trying to block off Brown there. She's basically stopped in her path, and Brown's run straight into the back of a tee.
Look, the question is, you know, how much force did Brown use? And I think Momo Hayashi may have played that one up a little bit. There was certainly a bit of contact, but I'm happy not to see a card here. Just a stern talking to, I think, is plenty in that.
Yeah, I think that's fair, because you know that in both, you feel like both players are trying to push the envelope there. Brown's trying to give Hayashi a bit of a nudge to say, don't stop in my line, and Hayashi's trying to make sure.
Yeah, she knows she's coming and knows I'm going to milk this.
Trying to prevent that pressure on her goalkeeper. So I reckon that's good refereeing. Have a little chat. 6 of one, half dozen of the other, and play on.
Spice up the game a bit.
We like a bit of spice. And it's been a good one, this one. Brisbane had their chances as well, so not out of this by any stretch, but mentality, that's the big question mark now. Newcastle led last week, and they let that slip. Brisbane haven't come from behind this season to get a point or 3. So who responds best after that opening goal of the match? Brisbane trying to squeeze in here on the debutant Bates, but just enough to earn a throw for her side. Bry's pinched about 5 extra metres there. Officials are letting that go. This is Bates, it's a scuffed ball forward. Spin favours Davis. Brown is offside. She will get caught offside like that, Kelly Brown, but sometimes when she does time a run, you know that she's going to win the race because she's got that raw speed.
And no doubt the Raw are aware of that game plan the Jets do have and the strength that Kelly Brown and Melina Ayres have going forward like that. So they're going to step up and try to play that offside trap as well. And they played it well in that case.
It's a good little combination, haven't they? They've got up top there, the Jets have got the sharpshooter Ayres and the speed, dynamism of Kelly Brown.
Perfect balance, I think, and it's giving them more options as well going forward. They've got that option of over the top for Kelly Brown, but also the option of a striker coming short and playing their feet and bringing others into the game. And both have lethal shots from anywhere really as well, so Brisbane Roar will have that in the back of their minds.
Well, we know the strength Brisbane have in the attacking department, but they do have to be careful as well. Don't want to concede a second before half-time. Page under pressure from Fryer. It is the safety first option. It's probably the right option in that situation. Medwin. Fryer. Stevenson. Newcastle able to earn possession back now. Davis turning. Quilamu, though, pounced. It only was a split second that Davis just dwelled on the ball, but that's how quick Quilamu is.
She's exceptional at knowing when to jump in and pinch the ball, Quilamu, and she's a strong player herself as well, so once she's won that ball, very hard to dispossess. Pressure here on Newcastle, and an elite. It was excellent goalkeeping in that situation. Understood the danger and found the sideline, because Brisbane with a massive chance there. Debutant under pressure there, and Elite was ready though. She does have a sense for danger, I feel, and Elite, which makes her a great goalkeeper because she knows when the team is in a bit of strife and the ball needs to go, or she needs to step in and intervene like she just did.
I don't know if it's sometimes underrated, but sometimes it's not as spoken about, the importance of having an experienced goalkeeper. But last season, Newcastle, the goalkeeping, it was an absolute disaster. Yeah,
it was all over the place. You know, they didn't have a consistent shot stopper between the posts every match, and yeah, that inconsistency makes it really hard.
And I know that sounds harsh, T, but I don't know how else to put it, because I don't think I've seen a season like it. Red card, mistakes. It was very, very challenging for Newcastle, and you just feel like Anna Lead at the back there you don't want to jinx, but she's had a very assured season. And when you sign an international, you know what you're getting. As Breyer just finds herself in behind. Woods has to come across to screen. Dundas just trying to keep Anson at arm's length. Chico now getting forward here for the Jets. The centre-back, Claudia Chico, looking to turn provider. Copus Brown can hit them from this kind of range, and now Brisbane, they know Chico is out of position. They can punish them here if they're good enough, and they aren't. Dundas just holding onto the ball under pressure from Stevenson. Can't believe she's just 18 years of age. Emma Dundas. Such a bright future ahead of her. The Barnsley United junior. Funnily enough, her coach, Stephen Hoyle, is a Barnsley United junior. Different side of the world, though.
Yeah.
Myers. Little shimmy and a step. Stevenson. Space closed down by Davis. Now it's Jansen. Woods. Ashlyn Miller. So this is where Brisbane are at their dangerous best. And it's Leeds up off the line. But when they are able to build pressure, you feel like they are picking those passes correctly more often than not.
Yeah, I think they just need to do it quicker, because the Jets are recovering and they've got that compact block, and the Raw need to move players, so they need to move the ball quicker.
Chico again getting forward. Just a ploy, no doubt, from Newcastle, making those runs from deep. The centre-back using her pace, knowing that she's got the cover of Pryor and Bates back there.
Well, you can see that goal's given the Jets confidence there. Players are getting forward, like Chico, she's venturing forward more now. So the Jets are in a good place at the moment in this match. And they want to build on that and even get another.
Medwin just squeezed out, and Medwin, you could say almost a barometer of Brisbane. She's been excellent this season, getting into forward areas, creating chances. Has been somewhat quiet to start this game. Newcastle have closed off that space on the flanks.
Yeah, I think when Brisbane get caught moving the ball too slowly, the Jets have so many numbers around the ball and they're forcing that turnover.
An intriguing battle unfolding here at number 2 Sports Ground in Newcastle. Dundas over the top. It bounced and it spun away from Varley. And Kelly Brown is brought down, is she? Yes, she is. It's a penalty to Newcastle. Well, Varley got herself all tangled up, and Kelly Brown took her on, was felled. Newcastle go to the spot.
Well, there's the tug of that shirt, and Kelly Brown felt it. She went down. Varley knew it straight away. But how about that ball forward from Dundas? If there's no ball forward there, this doesn't happen.
And that was always going to be the challenge for Brisbane up against Brown. We talk about Ayres v Hayashi. Well, Brown versus anyone. You know that she's got speed to burn. And if you can't keep it with her and you can't keep goal side of her, it causes those kind of situations.
Yeah, and defenders are inclined to bring their hands into play, and in that case got tangled up with Kelly Brown, who did nip in front.
Well, Kelly Brown, she missed last week with concussion. Now she stands over the penalty spot looking for her first goal in Newcastle colours. And with a clear head, that is a clinic tackle penalty from Kelly Brown to open her account in goal for the Newcastle Jets, and it's 2-0 to the home side before the break.
Well, here's the foul. She nipped in front of Varley, and ice-cold finish there. Massive moment for the Jets.
Six goals in the Ninja A-League for the 9-time New Zealand international Kelly Brown. She was at Perth Glory last season. Comes closer to home this season, playing with the Jets. And she has made a terrific return after missing last week with concussion. And what an impact the front two of Newcastle have had. Ayres and Brown, a goal each. And they lead Brisbane 2-0. And this is a Brisbane side who, with a win today, they could have gone to the top of the Ninja A-League ladder. There's still time for them to turn this around, but it is a tough road to climb for them now. And Newcastle, a win for them takes them level on points at the top with Canberra. 10 points. Canberra are on after an incredible passage of form. Win over Victory, a win over Sydney. Can they complete it all with a victory over Melbourne City? 5:30 today at McKellar. So Brisbane, one of the final chances of this first half, hung up towards Hayashi of all players, and Hayashi couldn't keep the shot down. Great chance right on the stroke of half time. And that's a key moment, isn't it, T? Right on the stroke of half time, you score there, all of a sudden momentum can just swing.
It's that timely goal that just before half-time that can really change things, like you said, Ben. And Hayashi had a second bite of it there, so
half-time in the Hunter. And what a scoreline it is for the home side. Brisbane coming in here as favourites off the back of Bente Janssen's form, but it was Melina Ayres, another star of this competition, who stepped up and scored. And then Kelly Brown making it 2-0 on the stroke of half-time with such a calm and composed penalty kick. Half-time in Newcastle, the Jets 2, Brisbane Roar 0. And let's have a look now at the highlights of the first half, T. And it was a pretty even affair to start.
it was. In the opening 15, I'd say it was a bit of a stalemate. Not much was happening, but the Jets had a couple great crosses in. Their crossing has been pretty good in this match, and a couple chances. Brisbane with plenty of entries into the final third, just not able to get it over the line there.
It's just almost that last attempt on goal on a few occasions for Brisbane has cost them. And then when you don't take your chances, Melina Ayres, she will when she's given one.
She absolutely will, and she did in this instance, and what a great finish that was. Her and Kelly Brown really made things happen in this game, but I've got to give credit to Emma Dundas in the middle of the pitch, because she played that ball forward for that Kelly Brown goal. If she didn't play that forward, Brown wouldn't have been able to put herself in this position here to nip in front of Varley and draw that foul. And like we said, that ice-cold finish off the penalty.
Yeah, it was superb from Kelly Brown. So assured to make it 2-0 to the Jets at halftime. Here are the stats at the break. You can see pretty even on a lot of fronts. And that's a good one, T. You mentioned there in the highlights. Final third entries. Brisbane are getting in those situations.
They are. They'll be disappointed not to have finished any chances. But interesting to see the Jets have made plenty of final third entries as well.
Well, it is 2-0. The Jets leading Brisbane at the break. We'll be taking a quick break, and we'll be back with the halftime show next. Welcome back. We're live here at number 2 Sports Ground, where it is the Newcastle Jets leading 2-0 over Brisbane Roar at the break. Melina Ayres and Kelly Brown goal scorers. But one of the avenues Brisbane can use to get back into this game is through Matilda striker Sian Fryer, who is back at the club on a loan spell from VfL Wolfsburg. Let's hear from Sian now about her recent journey.
Sian Fryer one-on-one with the keeper. Fryer left foot strike. Sian Fryer to double Brisbane's lead.
I think the conditions needed for me to play my best football is definitely having my family there in the crowd, knowing that I have support, and then just having a comfortable environment around me and coaching staff that I'm familiar with. So a piece of me would definitely be missing if I couldn't play football, especially here at Brisbane Roar. I've been here for a few seasons now, so just being amongst the group, feeling like I'm at home.
Sian Fryer, the winger, the superstar.
It always holds a special place and it's been a big part of my life, and it's something I really treasure. The number 228 obviously means a lot to me. It's my cap number. It was an honour to represent Australia and put on the jersey, so it's something I'll always be grateful for. It meant a lot to me to score my first international goal. I scored a header, which I don't normally do, so it felt very special. I got to do it in front of my family as well, so that obviously meant a lot. And stadium was packed out, so it was good.
Sian Fryer! Well, last week it was Sian assisting Lainey, and now her twin sister has returned the favour.
Lainey has retired to pursue her life out of football. I obviously got to play with her last season. I played with her my whole life, but it felt extra special to be able to play in the orange with her last year. She obviously had a very good season.
Lainey Fryer! Her 8th of the season!
I think it was a very good high to end on, so I'm so proud of her, and obviously she'll always support me as well. So I'm excited for this next chapter in her life and can't wait to see what else she achieves.
Fantastic finish.
We started the season very strong last year, and I think we'll do the same.
And Sian Fryer, on her Brisbane Roar return, equalises for the home side.
I think this year we have a group of girls, they're different, and I think there's a real winning mentality in the group. So I think if we can perform well and start the season strong, we'll get those wins and hopefully we'll fly through the season.
And suddenly it is Brisbane Roar in the ascendancy.
Well, Brisbane, they have got a mountain to climb in the second half, but Sian Fryer certainly is going to play a key role if they want to get themselves back into this one. Well, another one of the talking points this week in Dub Zone was Canberra's win against last season's grand finalists, Melbourne Victory. Their first win in Melbourne against the Victory in 11 years. The result there raised some questions for Victory, who suffered their 3rd loss of the season, more than their total number of defeats last year.
This was a game played in space. Melbourne Victory only won 5 tackles for the entire game. Canberra won 15. So it was a fairly bruise-free encounter, you might say, with the teams willing to give each other space to attack and counter on each other. But Canberra did hunt the ball more. And I just feel like they were up for this and wanting to prove a point. There's so much to be excited about with this Canberra team. Anthony Jagranek has got this side, I think, with the right mix of pace, defensive accountability, midfield hunger and bite. I mean, they are going places.
Annabelle, I wanted to just touch on a couple of the defensive things that Victory didn't do as well as they normally do. 2 balls going in off deflections. It's really tough as a defender to be chasing back towards your goal line and have a ball coming at you.
Yeah, I think that's really unfortunate for Morrison. I think if you're Victory, you're looking at that and you think, I'm pretty unlucky, whereas if you're Canberra, you're probably thinking, hey, we created our own luck today and we deserve that win, which, when you say 5 tackles, that's pretty crazy, knowing Melbourne Victory, every time we play them, it's a very physical battle. It's a demanding game. They don't tend to give you a lot of space, so it is surprising, but no doubt that they'll have to bounce back, and they will.
3 wins and 3 losses, Teo, for Victory. It's more losses than they had all last season.
Exactly. They only lost 2 games for the entire home and away season. Don't get me wrong. I still think Victory is very good. The problem in this league is Melbourne City holds you to a near impossible standard if you want to win the premiership. There's no reason they can't make the finals. They can win a grand final, but everyone wants to qualify for the AFC Women's Champions League. Everyone wants to finish top now that it's a proper home and away season. And Melbourne Victory, I just wonder, Amy, do they need to rethink how they attack? Between Holly Furphy and Rachel Lowe, They have had 28 shots this season for no goals. They are both right near the top of XG accumulated for players that haven't scored. Kennedy White, however, sharpshooter, 2 goals better than her XG so far this season. I wonder, do they actually need to be a little bit more Kennedy White conscious or start to really think about the decisions they make instead of peppering on goal?
Well, just finish. Just point blank finish in front of goal. Holly Furphy there inside the 6-yard box. You've got to make those, and Kennedy White as well, put one straight over the bar. So you've just got to make those chances count.
Yeah, an interesting challenge for Melbourne Victory, but Canberra United, they take on Melbourne City a little bit later on today. Victory against Adelaide United, 4:50 kickoff that one in Victoria. All right, well, we are off to a break. Halftime here in Newcastle. The Jets leading the Raw 2-0. We'll have second half action right after this. Welcome back to number 2 Sports Ground. We're here in Newcastle, where it is the Jets leading Brisbane Roar 2-0. Kelly Brown with a penalty right on the stroke of half-time after Melina Ayres opened the scoring for the Jets. Those 2 goals coming in the lead-up to half-time after it was a pretty even start to this match. And Teresa Polias alongside. You can see here Alex Smith is not happy with how things are progressing. He is going straight to the bench.
Yeah, and often that's a sign. Coach not happy at halftime and making some prompt changes to get the players to execute what they need to in the second half.
Just having a little look, so it's Kruger and Studer who are coming on. I wonder whether he's going to make a little shift here in the back line. Does he push Hayashi into midfield? So the first player withdrawn is Kiara Myers. Now the player off is Bente Janssen.
They're around the other way. They went on.
Surprising one there.
Well, just
perhaps
let that sink
injury
in.
could be a niggle. We just don't know. Another reason early changes do happen.
Wow. Well, that is stunning. We'll try and get you some more information. Back underway in the second half, but the stunning news is probably the player of the competition to this point is a half-time withdrawal. And I'm just checking the field tee just to make sure there hasn't been a mistake on the board. But Bente Janssen has not returned in the second half. Incredible.
Yeah, no signs of that, you know, pre the half-time break. So a bit of a head scratcher there.
Well, it certainly looks as though, in terms of the way that they're playing, Stevenson maybe going to push up a little bit higher up the pitch. Let's see how that shakes out in the opening minutes. Can't see her on the bench either for Brisbane. So you just wonder what the issue may be. But Alex Smith, no doubt a change they wouldn't have wanted to have made. So you must think it has to be injury or health related for a player that scored 5 goals in the 4 matches to start this season. And hang on a second, here's something else that's come out of nowhere. Kelly Brown has gone into the book, a yellow card. You just wonder whether that's got something to do with the contact on Hayashi in the first half. She was warned, and referee Sophie Allam has said, enough of that, you're in the book.
Well, she would have got a warning for that contact she made on Hayashi in the first half. So anything after that, any form of time wasting or contact against the rules of the game, she was bound to get a yellow for. Here it is there.
There's not much in it, is there?
Not too much there, no.
Well, Jets appealing for a handball there against Kruger, but it was very close range. Bounced up into the arm. Referee obviously thinking it was in a natural position. When you just heard that from the 4th official. Josh Attardi was just explaining that to the Jets bench. So it was in a natural position. Lamet around the corner for Studer. So that's a straight swap there. Studer is just playing on that right midfield, right wing role for Brisbane in for Myers. And she's looking for the cross here, floating it up towards Fryer at the back post, and lead had to be sharp down to her right. It was only a toe from Fryer. Studer has shown quality this season for Brisbane. 3 starts from the opening 5 matches, a couple of appearances off the bench now for the American. Out of Carolina Ascent, where she played in the USL. Now Pryor in a foot race and had to get that spot on, because if she collected Quilamu, Brisbane would have been heading to the spot.
Well, that was a perfectly timed intervention there. Here's the cross in for Fryer, and really good goalkeeping from Leet there to track that ball across and save it.
A problem all of a sudden for Brisbane, who have given the ball away. Brown versus Varley. Brown stepped away from Varley, and Medwin, and toe pokes it over the bar. Well, you just cannot take your eyes off this match. 4 minutes into the second half, you've had enough to write a book about it.
It's been action-packed, and there's the Jets on a transition again. The Raw haven't been able to really handle Kelly Brown and Ayres going forward, and she just toe pokes that one over the bar there. Great chance there for the Jets.
So Brown should have had a brace, did have a yellow card, and Bente Janssen has been forced out of this match. And now Newcastle maybe with another chance here. Brown, the flag, is it up? Yes, it is.
Well, the Raw had to be sure there.
Usually there is some sort of a feeling out period start of the second half, as you would usually see at the start of the match. Well, certainly not happened here in Newcastle. It is full tilt from the outset of this second half. Brisbane could have had a goal through Fryer. Newcastle could have had one through Brown. Quilamu as well causing headaches for Newcastle defensively.
Well, the Jets can't take their foot off the pedal. Even with a 2-0 lead, I think the result in that F3 derby last weekend taught them a bit of a lesson, and they've come out firing again, which is great to see. It's a really entertaining match.
I wonder as well, when you look up and you see the opposition is without their best player, how do you respond? How do you not get lulled into a false sense of security?
I mean, both teams are arguably missing their best players, aren't they? The Raw are missing Tamika Yallop, and the Jets are missing Lauren Allen. So a bit the same on both ends, but I think at the heart of it all, both teams need to win this match, and that should be motivation enough to go out there and execute the game plan.
Brown and Davis. Well, huge 39 minutes or so normal time. Well, crowd groaning there, and I think that was because they felt that Woods went down a little softly, but must underline that, but Kelly Brown has to be careful.
She does. They need her out there, and she doesn't need to be sent off for something so unnecessary in this match. I think the Jets had enough of red card dramas from last season, so...
Lucky you brought that up and not me.
They want a stable season, and so far that's working for them.
Page with the throw. And Farley got a body in the way. And now Brown. She has been in the thick of things this afternoon. Kelly Brown. Newcastle fans will appreciate that. They will want her to keep her head. It's a humid, warm day in Newcastle. You can see the zinc of Kelly Brown. It hasn't lasted long in the warm conditions. Fryer finds the space down the touchline. Medwin, and Fryer just gets a toe in. One thing I'm noticing today, T, is almost every time Medwin is getting the ball down this left edge for Brisbane, where in previous weeks she's had at least a few metres of space, she's literally tiptoeing down the sideline. Space is really being squeezed up by Newcastle, but there is space through the middle here for Stevenson with a shot. It was never troubling the Newcastle goal.
Well, no doubt, the Jets have done their video analysis. They know what strengths the Raw have, and Amy Medwin has had a fantastic start to this season. You mentioned before her distribution, her involvement in creating chances has been fantastic. So they've identified that, and I think in this game they're trying to nullify it, and it's working. They're really executing that.
Missed it. Brisbane, 2 half-time substitutions after they were down 2-0 at the break. Can it force them into action here? Fryer, one of those substitutions. Kruger with a great chance. And they cannot complain about lack of opportunity here today, Brisbane. They are creating. They are not finishing, though.
They certainly are, and Fryer gets away here, cuts it back brilliantly on a platter for Kruger. And you can see in her reaction how disappointed she is with her finish in that area. Those need to be finished.
Do you think she had more time?
She could have taken a touch in that instance for sure, but we see a lot in that situation, the first time finish, but she had plenty of time to tee that up.
Cross from Studer, blocked off by Pryor. Woods. And this is the thing, we heard Teo mention this on Dub Zone. Kruger and Stevenson, two midfielders who regularly started in seasons gone by, mainly used off the bench this year. So that's a benefit for Brisbane. They've got that experience, but also might take them a little bit of time just to find their groove. And you haven't been regularly starting matches. Stevenson has been good today. Kruger will look to work her way into the game off the bench.
Yeah, from a match fitness perspective as well, it takes time to build. So Stevenson starting today, getting plenty of minutes, and Kruger coming on at the half. It's plenty of minutes to build into and try and draw on that match fitness that they may not have a lot of yet in this season.
Varley. And now Medwin with some space to work in. Fryer. Kruger. Did score a famous goal for Sydney. Medwin's cross. And Bates's clearance. I was going to say Kruger, famous goal for Sydney against the Jets to win it in stoppage time a couple of seasons back. Down at Leichhardt Oval. So he does have some happy memories of taking on Newcastle. Kruger was given a little tug there. Was it? It was not spotted. It was on the blind side of the referee. It was a little sneaky one there from Claudia Chico.
It was sneaky there, and if the ref had seen that, would have been a free kick in a dangerous area and possibly a card to boot.
Quilamu to strike. The second touch again. Her industry wins it from Pryor, and that time it was Chico's clearance. Well, Quilamu is putting herself in great positions once again, and on another day Brisbane would have had a goal there.
Great persistence there from Quilamu. She kept at it. She needs, that's what Brisbane need. They need someone stepping up and leading that line and not letting the frustration take over, because they've created a lot in this match. It's just that finish they need. Here's that persistence from Quilamu. In she goes again, wins that ball, keeps it in, cuts it back for a half chance there.
It's hard not to be excited about Grace Quilamu. Such a talent. Cannot wait
Huge
to see her career unfold. The 18-year-old who's previously just in the young Matildas camp with coach Alex Apakis. Looking to get on the end of this free kick. It's Varley's header. And the flag up for offside. It's a frustrating one for Brisbane. Copus Brown, and they profit here from a turnover from the Raw. But Back by Kruger. Stevenson. Dundas. She's been one of the Jets' best. And there's 2 Brisbane players down thanks to the endeavour of Dundas. She's leaving them all sprawled on the turf.
Incredible work rate from Dundas.
She's like a flying chainsaw there, cutting players down everywhere.
She's up, she's down.
Brown. First touch was disappointing from Kelly. Now Kruger, and look at Breyer, the speed. You can see why. She's starting her first game of the season. You know, the speed and threat that Brisbane possess. Ooh, Breyer, maybe she's gotten away with one there. She was looking at the referee, pleading for a free kick and got it. The debutante today, Emma Bates. Did have a little nervy couple of moments in the first half, but I'd say pretty assured today.
Absolutely. Solid performance, and so far the scoreline really, I think, reflects the game.
Josie! Forward runs! Ash is inside, make a forward run!
Okay, so there's a little bit of an indication from the Brisbane bench. Wants Ashlyn Miller to make some runs on the inside of Studer. Those 2 Americans linking up down the right. Meanwhile, a change for the Jets. So Josie Allen, product of Kahiba and the emerging Jets. So another one of these Newcastle products who's coming off the bench today. She started her first 4 matches this season. Replaces Kelly Brown, who scored from the penalty spot in the first half. And maybe just a little bit of game management as well there from Stephen Hoyle, with Kelly Brown going into the book in the second half. Did have that coming together with Tish Woods as well, so just protecting her as well, you would think. She's done her job today.
Yeah, I was about to say job done, I'd say there, and she's obviously on a card, so we don't want anything eventuating after that as the game goes on and fatigue sets in.
But you'll remember that one. First goal in Newcastle colours for Kelly Brown, and it was a very cool and calm finish into the top corner. It meant that Alex Smith's team have got a 2-goal deficit to claw back, but how often do we say it? 2-goal deficit. Very dangerous. That looked a very dangerous back pass for a moment from Hayashi. Copus Brown. Looking for someone to run into space. Studer was there for Brisbane. Touch from Miller, who's pushing high, you can see here. I just wonder as well whether Studer is now dropping into right back and Miller's being asked to push on a little bit forward, whether that's just a little change for that exact moment of the game. Keep an eye on that. Fryer away from Page, driving it low. Quidlamu. Good chance for Brisbane. Now for Kruger. Stabs it to Stevenson. Turns on a dime. Still Stevenson. Gold shirts everywhere. Medwin. How is the cross? Closed down. Excellent work. Excellent scramble from the Jets. Woods' delivery is deep. Over the head of Quidlamu. Rye gets it away, but it's all hands to the pump at the moment for the Jets. They forced a mistake. Frustration certainly evident there for Brisbane. Dundas, she's worked her way out of a really tight spot there. Find the pass though. can see the stats for Brisbane. Had more of the ball, had more shots on goal. But it's Newcastle leading 2-0. Miller, Studer, right to the byline. Quilamu, is that a handball from Pryor? I believe if the referee's made any call there, it's that it's come off the body of Pryor back into her arm, which wouldn't be a handball based on the interpretation currently.
Yeah, I'm happy with that call. I think it was quite close range as well. See here, yeah, arms up against the body. Good decision.
Medwin, early ball. Miller had a swing at it, and Breyer is off. Trying to exploit that space in behind. Here is Dundas. Early delivery, saw the runner theirs. Right option, well cut out by Brisbane. Raw coming back with interest. Quilamu rode the bump from Copus Brown. Fryer. And it's Pryor who denied Fryer. The flag was up anyway, but she wasn't to know.
Well, her timing has been on point in this game. Tash Pryor. What a great intervention that was. From otherwise fantastic play. Look at this ball threaded through for Pryor from Quilamu. And that timing from Tash Pryor. She's done it a number of times in this match. It's been spot on. Leading from the back there.
Here's Joe Montemuro having a little look.
It's got to be. Should certainly be in the extended squad, and I think every player should be on notice in the lead up to the Asian Cup.
Oh, and Allen has won the ball. Newcastle, a chance for a third here. Varley comes across and just knocks over Allen in the shoulder-to-shoulder battle. Very physical defender, and she just won that fair and square. Lamu did well to keep her feet. Well, it only takes one slip up from Brisbane, and it could be 3-0 Newcastle, and then it becomes an almighty task for the Raw. But they are still in with a chance here while it's 2-0. Fryer. That time it was Dundas. And wins the free kick. Well, has there been a better player for Newcastle today?
Outstanding work from Dundas. I think each player's done their job. Here's the opportunity Allen had, and it was Varley with strong defending. Such great work there to dispossess her, but Dundas winning that foul there, 2-on-1. Got sandwiched between the Brisbane players there and earns her team an important foul.
So Hayashi pushes forward, driving a strike at goal. It is a point to note, Hayashi playing at the back, it does somewhat take away that ability of her to strike from range. We haven't seen that too often today.
I would have loved to have seen Alex Smith push Hayashi up at the break. I know you mentioned that that may have been the case with the subs, but he kept her at the back there, and I do feel she's a little bit wasted in that position.
Fryer now, she shifted onto her right. Woods, that will not trouble Leak in the slightest. Just having a look at options he has on the bench. Well, Studer, you could potentially play her there. She's played more out wide. They've got Kinsella, the 19-year-old, who's only played one A-League women's match. He's a defender. Piazza as well. So options there, but
plenty of options
obviously
there.
he feels that Hayashi's the best option.
Look, to me, they're chasing the game anyway. So
yeah, I'm with you.
It's something, look, there's still plenty of time for the Raw, and perhaps he will try it a little later, but time will tell.
I just wonder as well, speaking of defenders, we're talking about how impressive Tash Pryor's been today. Claudia Chico as well has been exemplary. Well, Stephen Hoyle is a defender. He grew up in the youth system at Barnsley, I mentioned before. He actually is an ex-teammate in those junior days of John Stones, the English defender. We see Miller's delivery. Kwilamu couldn't get the shot on goal. And you just think the kind of information that they would have picked up from him already this season would have helped them no end.
Is that cross in from Miller, and Kwilamu just flicking the ball over there. But yeah, I think the whole team as a unit have been defensively sound in this game, so no surprises there given Hoyle's experience and history as a defender.
Oh, Davis, how's she done that? And Copus Brown was like a red carpet was rolled out there for Libby as she danced through the opening. Breyer from distance. Oh, Lincoln can't stop it, and Breyer, well, it was a tracer bullet. Yes, it should have been stopped, but it was so powerful. And she's got a second of the season, and it's 3-0 to the Jets.
Well, how about the ball across from Copus Brown, and Breyer? She had acres of space in front of her. She let rip, and what a shot that was, an absolute stinger. And too much for Chloe Lincoln to handle there.
Well, India Breyer, it's been an impressive performance, more so from the defensive side of things. And just then she hits a really powerful drive. And let's be honest, yes, it should have been saved by Lincoln. But, as they say, if you buy a ticket, sometimes you win. And India Breyer won on that occasion, and Newcastle now, well, they're 3-0 leaders, and they are very close to going level on points with Canberra United at the top of the Ninja A-League, provided there's no late collapse. And, well, they did concede 3 goals in this period of time last week against the Mariners, but it was different circumstances there.
Look, the game is far from over, and I'd hate to speak too soon, but if the Jets can get a win here today, this is huge for them and their season.
Well, I know leading into this season, a lot of pundits were thinking the Jets would be struggling this season. And after their undefeated start first 3 matches, I think some were starting to rethink. But then last week against the Mariners, that defeat almost reconfirmed what a lot of pundits felt about how Newcastle were going to perform. Well, does this swing it back the other way? This kind of performance against a Brisbane side who, yes, Jansen hasn't come back out in the second half, but let's be honest, they were 2-0 up.
Oh, certainly. I think, let's not forget that the Jets are without a couple key players as well, but I think a win against Brisbane with the history between the teams and how dominant the Raw have been, and as good a team that they have this season, it's a mammoth win for the Jets if they're able to hold on here.
Well, Fryer has got herself into good positions. For Brisbane, just one of those afternoons where they have spurned their opportunities. And it looks as though we may be getting a Ninja A-League debut in difficult circumstances, but an opportunity for Daisy Brown, who's coming to the sideline now for Brisbane. But this is Josie Allen taking on Hayashi, has Breyer in space, but the pass was unable to meet the intended recipient.
Yeah, the pass a little too straight there to involve Breyer in that play, but good moment again for the Jets.
Oh, who else? It's Dundas winning the ball back for Newcastle. Allen airs. Oh, Hayashi with the block. Into the shoulder it looked. here comes a Ninja A-League debut. So it's Teach Woods replaced. This is an attacking move, and you would expect that when you're down by 3 goals to 0. So Woods is off. Daisy Brown is about to make a Ninja A-League debut. The 19-year-old who was born in Singapore moved to Sydney where she played her juniors at Sydney Uni and then moved to Brisbane in 2019 where she's been in their Football Queensland NTC program and part of the Young Matildas training camp back in June this year. So a player with plenty of potential. What impact can she have on debut late on here as Ayres throwing herself about in the box. Breyer, deflection brings a corner for Newcastle. Have not had many corners this afternoon.
Ball across from Page, and Studer nods it down.
What about that contact, Ayres v Studer? No issue there.
Not for me, no.
I'm told Melina Ayres was absolutely blowing up at the referee, but all strikers regularly do that.
3-0 up and still not happy.
She wants another. Here's Dundas. And the deflection is going to earn another corner.
It's good to see, though. She's competitive as ever, and that's what the Jets need. They need players out there leading in terms of being competitive, and Dundas once again skips forward.
What a performance. And the key for her now, consistently, week in, week out, she can deliver this.
Yeah, let's not forget, she's so young, so she can come out and do this every week. Wow, what a future she'll have.
So the corner, Ayres rising. Jets fans were also rising. They thought that it was another goal for their sharpshooter. I did have to just double check she was 18, and she is. 2007
Super
born.
young. Wow.
Fryer. Finally getting a moment to stretch her legs. Brown lets it run on. And Miller. Quilamu's header. Came back at her with interest. Quilamu in a beaten side. Just she's put herself into some good positions. So we just see this corner. Ayres
Once again. Up above, rises up above everybody there. She's hungry for more.
And the fact that they're not solely relying on Melina Ayres, that has to be a positive for Stephen Hoyle. In fact, they've got 3 different goal scorers today, one being Ayres, Brown and Breyer. And Medwin just leaves it behind. She's been left frustrated today. Josie Allen's come off the bench with some zip and verve here, and look at this. She just glides right through. Well, Studer, that's a yellow card. You'd almost say it's an orange card, isn't it? That kind of cynical challenge.
Cynical there. Definite yellow card. Josie Allen, away she goes. What a sub. She's come on and livened things up even more and really draws that foul.
That's those short footsteps, the quick cadence, and she just burst away through the midfield. And from a neutral's perspective, they are the most frustrating fouls, aren't they? You want to see something exciting happen. And a cynical foul like that.
I think it's a bit of a window into the mind of the Raw camp at the moment. I think they're super frustrated, and I think that's an issue that they have in games when they go down. They just can't shake off that frustration.
Opus Brown's delivery off the head of Hayashi, and it's a great discussion point, that tee. We just see Fryer seeing more opportunity late on just to roam into space, but the matches almost slipped them by here. Unless they can turn something around late on. But yeah, I mentioned this when Newcastle did score the first goal. Brisbane, when they score first, they've won every time they've played this year. And when they've conceded first, it looks as though it's going to be all defeats. Nothing in between.
It's certainly been the case in this match. Once the Jets scored that first goal, you could just see the Raw heads start to go down and snowballed as the game went on.
Being replaced by number 11, Charlotte Lancaster.
So Charlotte Lancaster, the New Zealand Youth International. He's played in the NPL New South Wales for the Bulls Academy, and Arpia Leichhardt. Arpia the last couple of seasons replaces Olivia Page, who made her first start in the Ninja A-League this season. Or in her career, I should say, first season in the Ninja A-League for Olivia Page. And she just went about her job with a minimum of fuss, and she basically shut down Medwin. It's been a real avenue for the Raw. So it looks as though Breyer is marking Fryer, which is a commentator's dream. Looks as though Breyer has shifted across here to the right now. That move with Lancaster coming into the game. Opus Brown couldn't nick it past Quilamu. And Pryor, how good's that? Breyer, Fryer and Pryor all in the same little passage of play. Medwin. And Fryer's delivery again. This time gives it a bit more height and depth. Miller lets it come to her. Plays the 1-2, skips over the first challenge. Yeah, so it would seem it's Lancaster that is playing now on that left, as that left wing back. And Breyer at the right edge. Kruger towards Fryer and Newcastle, clearing it to safety. Lincoln and Melina is what she does there. You're up 3-0. It's the 82nd minute, and she's still sprinting to put pressure on the opposite goalkeeper.
Well, this is the exact thing that the Jets need. They need a leader out there that's going for 90-plus minutes, whether you're winning, losing. Fantastic leadership.
So it looks as though here Alex Smith giving some opportunity here to a couple of players who haven't got much opportunity this season. So Amelie Kinsella comes on for just her second appearance in the Ninja A-League, first this season. Piazza, just her second appearance of the season. Stevenson and Medwin, the players withdrawn. Fryer in this shoulder-to-shoulder battle with Chico. Brown. Now Kinsella. And off to Brown. It's Davis clearing it for Newcastle. They very much just seem like they're in match management mode here, the Jets. They know Brisbane have to do all the running. Down 3-0, and they're happy to look what they can pinch on the counter. The tough thing for Brisbane is that they actually don't play again until the 28th of December. Against Sydney FC. Then they have a flurry of matches. New Year's Eve against the Mariners and against Wellington on January 3. So they do not play again until after Christmas. So a fair bit of time to lick their wounds after this match in Newcastle. 6-1 winners here last year. 3-0 deficit here. they grab something. No, the frustration continues, and even Kruger, shot on target. Leak just bats it away with a right hand.
It's always a tough one, knowing you've got a while till your next game after a poor result or performance. So you just want to get straight back out there and rectify it the next week.
Well, the Jets, isn't this an intriguing matchup? They play Melbourne Victory on Friday, and then Canberra, who on the live ladder are level with them on points at the top of the table. They play them on the 27th of December here at home before a trip to Perth in the new year. So Newcastle play 2 matches before Brisbane play again. Such is the quirk of the draw with the buys and situation. It's a strike from range from Piazza. The Jets, though, will be desperate to keep a clean sheet.
Knowing that schedule as well would have made this kind of a match and win even more important for the Roar.
Another yellow ticket, this time handed out to Piazza.
Well, that's the initial foul, and she picked up a yellow for that.
So far to stop, sorry.
Am I hearing another sub? It's as though there will be a change here for the Jets. That will be Alexis Collins. And Melina Reyes gets a breather. And she deserves it. What a shift she's put in today.
I think she deserves a standing ovation for that effort and performance and leadership. Brilliant.
So Alexis Collins comes into the game. He's 17-year-old who played a junior football at Mayfield United before progressing into the emerging Jets. So Ez has a sit on the bench, gets a 3-minute or so early mark, and can get herself ready for Friday's clash with Melbourne Victory, her old side. Wouldn't she love to win that one? And Melbourne Victory, haven't they been a little up and down this season? I know they've lost more matches already this season than they had the entirety of last year, but it probably shows you, T, that the evenness of the competition this year.
Yeah, that's certainly a factor, and although the Victory have a great team on paper, but I think the Jets will fancy their chances.
Lancaster, it's right underneath it, the bounce into the arms of Lincoln. And Jets fans no doubt will be keen to get out to that one. Friday night in December. It'll be a nice one to get out to. That's a good time. Holiday season.
Perfect time to get out and watch some high quality football.
I don't think that was intentional from Fry, but the crowd certainly didn't appreciate it as she flicked that ball up almost into the head of India Breyer. Davis, Pryor. Fresh legs of Kinsella winning out. So Brisbane, 3 wins, 9 goals in those 3 wins. Heading towards a second defeat. They didn't score against Western Sydney. They haven't scored here today. So when they're hot, they're hot. When they're cold, they can go off the boil a little, Brisbane. And it's just finding a way, isn't it, T, in these kind of matches where maybe you're not playing your best. They have had those chances. Here's another late yellow card.
Well, the thing is, they were producing plenty of chances. They weren't playing poorly, and
And is that the disappointing thing, is that now all of a sudden, after the goals have been scored by Newcastle and they're down 3-0, all of a sudden the chances have dried up?
Well, I think they started to dry up after that first Jets goal. Really slowly you could see that frustration creeping in, and then it really set in.
Hayashi from distance. Going to trouble Leet.
Possibly losing Janssen at half-time as well. That may have put a dent psychologically in the team when one of your best players that gives you a lot of confidence out there has to go off for whatever reason. Certainly can cause a bit of a hit in the confidence.
So 5 minutes of additional time. And just confirming that yellow card to Claudia Chico for that cynical foul. Well, we were saying this match, it can define seasons, even though it's early days. 5th match of the season for both of these two sides, quarter of the way through the season, tight competition. And it's probably told us that, yeah, it could be a roller coaster ride for Brisbane this year. And I think Newcastle feel like their form has been good this season. It was only really 20 minutes of madness against the Mariners where it all fell apart last week. And outside of that, they have been solid this year. Lancaster's delivery.
Well, you've got to applaud the Jets for the way they've bounced back from a massive derby loss. You wouldn't, looking at them play, you wouldn't think they had gotten thrashed last week by their arch rivals. So great response from them.
Lancaster off the back of Hayashi, deflection. Collins, down she goes. Allen almost had a chance. Now Dundas from distance. Well, she deserves a goal today. It's not going to change who's player of the match, I reckon, T, though.
Oh, she's definitely up there, I think. If anyone deserves a goal, it's her.
And it's a really great point, because chatting to Stephen Hoyle this week, that was a challenge for them. Getting the players up. He said their confidence was really hit by the defeat. Even after the great start to the season, he said he really had to pick them up this week, and he felt like maybe there was that little bit of emotional memory from last season where they really struggled. Maybe residual disappointment after the way that season finished. They've showed no sign of that at the start of this year.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hat off to Stephen Hoyle and his team, because watching this game, you wouldn't even think that there was any dent in their confidence as a result of last week. And whatever he did for his team to pick them up, wow. I'm sure plenty of coaches would love to know.
So we have got so much more to come today in the A-Leagues. 4:50 in the Ninja A-League. Melbourne victory against Adelaide. Now that is I'm going to say a desperation clash, but it's an important one. Melbourne victory beaten by Canberra 3-1. Adelaide suffered the same fate against Brisbane. So two sides who need a bounce back. You don't want to go back-to-back defeats. And then Canberra against City. That's almost a heavyweight stoush. 5:30 at McKellar Park today. And then we've also got a triple header in the men's competition as well. There's that free kick going the way of Brisbane.
I'm sure Copus Brown would have argued it was all ball there.
Well, another player for Newcastle who so often flies under the radar. Maybe Copus Brown going about her work today. Just a player you can consistently rely on in midfield. You know what you're going to get from it week in, week out.
Certainly do, and I think every player in this match today has done their job, and that's what the Jets have so desperately needed. Consistency.
Corner kick straight into the arms of Leet. She's been so assured today. as she has been to start this season. The New Zealand goalkeeper. There's been some turnaround from the Jets, who are heading towards a second clean sheet of the season. If you missed it, Jansen going off with potential injury at halftime for Brisbane. We're not sure exactly. But it's Newcastle with the perfect response to their derby disappointment. And they soar level at the top of the Ninja A-League ladder. Who saw that coming at the start of the season? Newcastle, 3 wins from their opening 5 matches. Ayres, Brown and Breyer the goal scorers, as Brisbane's inconsistent run this season continues. 2 wins, I should say 3 wins, 2 defeats, and they miss a golden chance to go clear at the summit. Full time in Newcastle, the Jets 3, Brisbane Roar 0. And it's time to reflect back now on the 90 minutes that was. And it's a good watch for Jets fans and frustrating for Brisbane because they had their chances.
Yeah, really solid performance from the Jets. I think they started a little slowly, but once they scored that initial goal, they were pretty much made their way on top. And nothing to take away from Brisbane. They made a lot of chances in those final thirds, but just couldn't put it away. And that frustration from not being able to finish their chances crept in. But how about that finish from Melina Ayres?
You just cannot give her that kind of opportunity. And was able to push that even past the outstretched reach. She's got a great reach, Chloe Lincoln. Very nearly got a touch and pushed it around. But even with that nick off the fingers, could not prevent a goal. And then Kelly Brown, her speed was causing headaches for Brisbane's backline.
Yeah, she got that fortunate touch of Varley and then nipped in front and drew that foul, and what a nice cold finish off that penalty.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better penalty than that, could you? Top bins from Brown. And that was 2-0 for the Jets. And then in the second half, well, they just continued to roll on. And Brown probably could have had a second. But this is the thing about Brisbane. Once again, they could have had 1 or 2, 3 maybe today, but just moments like that, they were just unable to be clinical.
Yeah, so I think about being clinical in those moments. I think they need to go away and have a look at the positive, because there was plenty of positive, and find ways to finish those chances.